You need to make sure that the girl you're talking to truly knows Christ. Now, I want to share a recent experience I just had that, didn't really end well. But really, because if you don't do this, the end will be worse than the beginning. So recently I was talking to this girl on Instagram, and I found her through a Christian single page, and I found some interest. She was beautiful, of course, and I DM'd her. And first and foremost, though, as men, we have to be leaders in this. Don't be afraid to DM a girl or, be the first to approach, because we are supposed to do that in the first place. But anyway, as we got to talking, I got to find out a little bit more about her. The small talk in the beginning, I'm from here, and this is my hobbies, this is what I like to do, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, those kind of things. But as men, getting back to leading, we need to also lead when we are wanting to find out more about how their spiritual walk is with Christ. Because if we don't know how they are spiritually, when we get involved in that relationship and we find out later on that their relationship with Christ is not where you want them to be at, or it might be rocky, or maybe they say they're a Christian but they are believing in these other doctrines that don't line up with Christianity, you need to be sure that before that commitment happens that you're doing that, because the end will be worse than the beginning, and you don't want that. So anyway, I got to telling her, how is your walk with Christ? Like, what is he currently teaching you right now in this season? And she was very surprised. Like, she said, I've never had anyone ask me that. And that right there just kind of, piqued my thoughts. Like, okay, nobody's ever asked her this. Okay. So then she got to tell me about how I'm following Christ, trying to be as holy as best as I can, and keeping the sacraments. So then that got me to saying, okay, what is the gospel? Like, how are you saved? And then the next response really surprised me, because then she said, I feel like I'm in an exam here, and like, I'm just trying to get to know you. So that really just threw me off course, because prior to that, she said, nobody ever asked me that question before. And I know I brought that up before, but it really surprises me that when we are trying to find our spouse and we're not asking these important questions, that we can get thrown off course, and we can be captivated by beauty rather than what does that person in their walk with Christ look like daily. And so as I'm having this conversation with her, I believe that she was offended, because then I felt the Lord just kind of tell me, okay, I need to tell her the gospel. I need to preach to her the gospel, because if she doesn't know the gospel, that is the most important thing. First and foremost, she is a person made in the image of God, and I just told her in a voice message, as kind as I can be, that keeping the sacraments does not save you. Because if it's Jesus plus sacraments, that means Christ's death was in vain, and he came and died for no reason. Because if good works could save us, then we could boast. But Ephesians 2:8-9 says, for by grace through faith are we saved. By grace, it is the grace of God that he sent Jesus to die the death we deserve. And by faith, professing our faith in Christ, we put our whole faith in Christ alone. In Christ alone. Nothing else can get you into heaven but through the blood of Christ. And so I had to explain this to her, and it's been pretty much a whole day now, and no response, just crickets. So it goes to show you that if you are seeking a godly woman, and if you are seeking someone that will be your future wife, you need to be asking these questions. Don't get too wrapped up and involved in the whole dating process, because dating is a worldly thing. So for most of history, we have been finding people that we want to marry and marrying them, and not really a dating process. Dating is really a modern thing. So when we take that into account, we live in the modern world right now, but we have to make sure that we know that we're getting with the right person. I know I'm kind of getting all over the place here, but basically I'm trying to just tell you that I care about this other person, you on the other side of the screen, and I want you to know that I don't want you to make that mistake of picking the wrong person just because they look good or they say they're a Christian, because Jesus says in Matthew 7 that not all who say, Lord, Lord, will enter into his kingdom. Not everyone who says they're a Christian is a Christian, because Jesus said, many will say it to me on that day, Lord, have we not cast out demons and healed the sick in your name? And Jesus will say, depart from me, I never knew you. So it's one thing to say you're a Christian, but are you living it out? And do you know what it means to be saved? So I hope this is encouraging to you, and I pray that this really helps you to find the right one, and like how to do it, and just being careful and using discernment. So anyway, I'm David. I'm your brother in Christ. God bless you.